very happy New Year to everyone, at least in terms of the church calendar year. Yes, it's a cheesy joke that we as pastors say every year, and yet has the element of truth to it. And that while we're a month away from the secular New Year's, for us, we do mark a transition, a change this weekend as a new year gets underway. And this image, ironically, of the new year is what was stuck in my head in the shower this morning. And I don't normally talk about the thoughts in my head in the shower in my homily, but it just so happens this morning that the first rational thought, coherent thought I had was in the shower. I was in College Station last night for this little gathering you might have heard about, and so the early drive back this morning did not have a lot of coherent thoughts of a good nature behind them. But in the shower this morning, the thought that came into my head, aside from being irritated from last night, was an image of Times Square in New York on January 1st. Now, normally we think of Times Square for New Year's on December 31st. But the image, if you've ever seen, of course, a lot of people will tune on their TVs to watch the dropping of the ball in Times Square and all the coverage and everything. But the next day, when you look, the streets are empty and the place is just trashed. And it's empty. It's a ghost town on January 1st. So the new year is underway, but suddenly where there's a mass of humanity, everyone's gone, whether they're at home, hungover, whatever. The streets are empty, and there's just a literal reminder that, wow, something just happened here. It's like a bomb went off in Times Square, but there's no one there. And so this image strikes me as an oddity about the way we celebrate New Year's in the secular sense, but as a correspondence of what's wrong with how we celebrate Christmas, not only in the secular commercial sense, but even as it creeps into our religious observance. And all the more underlines, and I wrote about this in my bulletin letter today too, how important it is that we observe Advent. When I look around, and I know this even from, this isn't just from those who aren't practicing Christians, but even devoutly practicing, and in my family have got devout Christians of non-Catholic backgrounds, but even them with the observance, for as much as Christmas is a big deal, like by December 26th, 27th, I'm done with Christmas. You know, the Christmas tree is gone, everything there. And so there's this lead up. We know it gets more and more obnoxious every year. Christmas music in stores starts like in August. And after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the massive humanity in the stores, the Christmas music is everywhere. Every single day, a Hallmark Channel or something has another story about how Christmas is finding a boyfriend. And all of this flurry of activity, and it all in one sense has a good spirit behind it, a good intention, but it serves to exhaust us. And what ends up happening is Christmas becomes an end and not a beginning. We get to December 25th, like midnight mass is like the dropping of the ball. Merry Christmas. And then by the end, okay, the next day I've got some more stuff. And December 26th, okay, I'm just done with Christmas. I'm ready to take a nap. And it's the exact opposite of what the mystery of faith is telling us. And so this season of Advent is an important reminder for us, not only of the preparation for Christmas, but the mysteries of our faith that we're constantly juggling and holding close to our heart. We end one liturgical year by celebrating Christ the King. So last Sunday we did that. Today we go into the first Sunday of Advent, but it's not a linear calendar. It's not like the end and now new beginning. One feeds into the other. And our psalm today does a wonderful job of marking that out. It's very subtle, but Psalm 25 is a psalm of deliverance. Ultimately, the psalm is praying for deliverance from enemies. It's God like, protect us, save us. But the verses we hear today are ones about God renew me in an interior fashion. Guide me in your truth. Teach me your paths. Make yourself known to me. And so we celebrate Christ as King, but we realize that Christ's victory must be claimed, that we must be interiorly renewed in the victory of Christ for it to mean anything. And so as we come into Advent, we have not just a countdown. It's not just the ball like moving down the stick towards Christmas, but we have a reminder of his coming and what that means. It's significant that we don't even start on this first Sunday of Advent with John the Baptist. We always wait until week 2. Week 1, we're still hearing readings that sound like the last few weeks. He's coming, be ready. Be ready for the terrible day, the Lord is coming. And so it's this message of sobriety. And as the church goes back, we're in violet purple again, kind of like in Lent. A reminder that it is a penitential season, not as heavy as Lent is, but nonetheless, that tells us something. This is a time of preparation for something. And by preparation for something, we don't mean Christmas shopping. It's a preparation for the mystery of Christmas and what that means for us. Not just a birthday party for Jesus, but that the Lord has come. He is coming. And even right now, he's here. This is the mystery we are meant to be opening up for ourselves right now. This is what Jesus is speaking of in the gospel. Beware that your hearts do not become drowsy from carousing and drunkenness and the anxieties of daily life, and that day catch you by surprise like a trap. Be ready. Right now, it's like a fire drill. This is a drill. But our lives are meant to be perpetually in that mode of drilling. That one day this will not be a drill. It's going to be go time. Are we ready? Are we prepared for this? And so this is an important invitation for us. We can't escape. We live in the world, so we cannot fully escape the mode and the atmosphere in which we live here. But we can make distinctions, and we can set a mentality for ourselves in these upcoming weeks. It is a great poverty that we have in the United States for the commercialization of Christmas as we do. It's not until you celebrate Advent and Christmas in another Catholic country that you observe the actual quiet anticipation and the holding up, the waiting for the joy until Christmas actually arrives. Nonetheless, we know that the lights will be up. We're going to hear the music in the stores now. We know there's going to be Christmas parties to go to. And no one is being asked to be a Scrooge. Don't be the person who goes around, well, it's Advent, I won't do that Christmas party. That's okay. But we can set a difference in our minds. What am I holding in store? What perhaps light penance practice, again, it's not Lent, but what can I do to mark in my mind that this is a time of spiritual sobriety, to have a watchful gaze, awaiting the coming Lord? What can I do? Not just to witness to this, but to allow my own disposition of heart to come, so that on December 24th and 5th, it may be an explosion of joy and not just an end. Because, brothers and sisters, the Lord tells us to be vigilant at all times. Pray that you have the strength to escape the tribulations that are imminent and to stand before the Son of Man. Christmas is a mystery of great joy. Let's make sure we have a full tank of gas to celebrate it.